with us. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Michele Molitor here with Nectar Consulting, founder and facilitator of the Wonder Women Unite Lean In Circles. And I'm super excited to be here with you. Can you believe it's December? Oh my gosh. And so today, we're going to be talking about some really juicy stuff. But before we get into that, I just want to give, for those of you who are new to Wonder Woman, Wonder Women Unite, let me just give you a brief overview of who we are and why I created this, right? So essentially, we are an amazing, amazing group of women executives and entrepreneurs and educators and just wonderful women from all over the world. As of today, we have 233 members from every corner of the planet. It's so exciting to me. And it continues to grow organically. So if you have other amazing Wonder Women friends that you think would benefit from this level of support and camaraderie and conversation, please do invite them. It's free. I do this because I love you all, and I just want to create a supportive atmosphere, particularly in these interesting times that we live in. Hence our conversation for today. Know that these calls are held every third Friday of the month at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 Eastern, and 5:30 British UK Greenwich Mean Time. All right? And the rest of you all from around the rest of the planet, I love you, and you'll have to do your own math on that, okay? Because that's not my forte. I have an app for that, thank goodness. And if you're not registered in the group, I'm so glad you're here. And you can easily get registered. You can go online to leanincircles.org, sign up for free, and just look for the Wonder Woman Unite online only circle and ask to join. It's very simple. And that'll give you access to the online social feed. And then we also have a private Facebook group as well, so that you can join. And, you know, we just have conversations offline there in between these calls as a way to support each other and cheer each other on and celebrate each other. And, you know, we all need some support sometimes. And that's what this is all about. And I would invite you, if you'd like, I'd love to get to know you a little better. Please feel free to contact me. And we could have virtual coffee via Zoom, just like this, right? And so just reach out to me. My email is Michele, Michele, at nectarconsulting.com. And I'd love to hang out and talk and learn more about who you are, what you do in the world, and what you're passionate about. All right? All right. So enough of that good stuff. One last thing. For joining us today, I have a special gift for you, which I'll share the link at the end of the call for one of my latest ebooks called Tapping into Your Power and Presence. I thought it would be really appropriate for today. And what comes with the ebook is also an MP3 guided meditation / hypnotherapy recording that I've made as well to help you boost your confidence and step into your power. So thanks for being here, and I'll share that out with everyone at the end of the call. So stay through to the end, and you can get all those details. All right? But fantastic. So today we are going to be talking about the silence breakers. I was actually moved to tears when I saw that, because it's such a difficult thing. And it's gone on for eons, literally. And to have it recognized in that way worldwide, and have these women who were so brave and courageous to stand up and say enough is enough is enough, really, really touched me. And so I thought it would be really appropriate for us to talk further about it today, to see how many of you have been touched by this in some way, shape, or form, challenged by it, and it's, stopped you or silenced you or made you recoil and go within. I certainly have, and it's difficult and it's painful, and it often leaves us with the feeling of, what did I do wrong? I must have done something to have this happen to me. But that's not the case. It's really, really not the case. And so I wanted to, have us have a forum here today to just talk about that. So my question for you is, has everyone seen the Time magazine, either the article or the video clip that was posted?
I did see it.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Okay, great. Because I was going to pull it up if need be, but yeah, it's really moving and really powerful, and it just shows that together we are stronger, and we do have a voice, and we do make a difference. And I was thinking about this morning. It's like, and I don't want this to sound like man bashing, because it's not. There are a lot of really wonderful men on the planet, and I do believe that. And there are also a lot of insecure men on the planet, and they use their size, their power, their influence as a way to intimidate women, and make them feel small so that they can make themselves feel bigger. That's essentially what it's about. But it's gone on for way too long. And so I wanted to kind of, go around and see who else has had an experience of either being sexually harassed or abused in some way, shape, or form, large or small, that you're willing to share, or you don't have to. It's totally fine. But or even just raise your hand, like, yes, it's happened to me. How many people has that happened to?
Oh yeah.
I think the bigger question is, who hasn't it happened to?
Yeah.
In all seriousness, even little things compound. My situation was when I was 15. I was working in a pharmacy. It was my part-time job, and we had a state trooper who would escort us to the bank to make. Remember the days where you had a cloth deposit thing and you put it in. I worked at a pharmacy, so we had to do a nightly deposit, and he was supposed to be my protector. And the thing is, you had to go around an isolated corner to do the bank drop. Why they set it up like that is beyond me. But and then the state trooper kind of, pushed me against the wall. I kicked him. I got out of it because my dad was CIA, and but his hands were up my shirt and all that stuff. So that's probably, that, when you're 15 years old and it's an authority figure and it's a state trooper, which is supposed to be a little bit of a higher standard, I knew no one would believe me. I told no one. I didn't tell anybody probably until 5 years ago, because karma caught up with him. He actually, it's an unfortunate story, but probably about 20 years ago, he was shot and killed he was shot on I-95 and in a drug operation. They shot him and took him out. So at that point I was like, well, what would I even do? And what would I, it's not worth tormenting his kids and stuff. But I honestly, and I'm a pretty strong person. So if I tucked it away, things like that happening, when I hear these people say, well, why did it take somebody so long to come out? Well, sometimes it takes you feeling safe in order to tell your story. But I know to this day, if I had told my mother, she still doesn't know, but if I had told my mother, she would have been like, well, you shouldn't have been walking all, somehow it would have been put back on me.
Right.
And so I think it's important to remember, it's not just men who have been brainwashed and conditioned to do this, but a lot of women are the same way, that, oh, you asked for it, or what were you doing, or that's, locker room talk. I think that was the most traumatic for me when Trump got elected. On many levels, it was just like a kick in the face. We have an unqualified man, qualified woman, the guy who's not qualified gets the role. And after all he's said and done about people on so many levels. But I think for so many people in my circle who've been raped or hit or whatever, that was so traumatic to them that it actually physically made them ill. Mm-hmm. And so hopefully the seal's been broken, and now we can just deal with a lot of this stuff appropriately from now on. So
yeah,
I don't feel like my story is as big as some other people, but I will tell you, it came at a pivotal time in my life, and it's made an impact for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mary. I appreciate that, and I feel the depth of that. I really do. Yeah. Elizabeth, how about you?
Did we lose our fourth person?
We did. I'm not quite sure why Prudence dropped off. We had 2 other folks on, and hopefully they'll drop back on again. Not quite sure what happened.
Okay, so my story. When I was young, life was easy. I was a waitress. My bosses loved me. I had a blast. I traveled. I sailed across the Pacific. And then I became a single parent and moved up the academic ladder, which is that male-dominated system. Mm-hmm. And I did well with my professors until my PhD, and he didn't want me to graduate.
Oh.
And I graduated anyway. And after that, I noticed there were blockages up to my success. And this is behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, I kept telling people there's something going on. I've been on this planet for 45 years. That was then. And there are blockages. And the confirmation came when I got a job teaching environmental science at a university, online university, and I had to have my transcripts sent directly from my alma mater to my job. A month, I made the phone call, paid the money, did the whole bit for the transcripts to be sent. A month later, 7 phone calls later, they were sending everything but my PhD.
Wow.
It was a Monday when they said, by Friday, if we don't have that PhD transcript, you're going to lose your job.
Wow.
I called the chancellor of the university. She brought it up on her screen, never even had to bother the chancellor. I talked to the secretary, never even had to bother the chancellor, and she had them electronically sent within a day. But the thing is yes, this has been going on, and this was like and it took me to homelessness.
Oh, wow.
And you talk about challenges, lost a job at a community college because of the male-dominated system. Now, I also feel strongly that throughout history, thousands and thousands of years, it's been like a pendulum. That at one point it switched towards the feminine, and then to the masculine, and then to the and now, from what I understand, and I'm seeing it, that there's a huge transformation going on all over the world. I have a radio show. If either one of you are interested in being interviewed for my radio show, it's Your Business Breakthrough. Let me know. Yeah. I'm on Facebook, Dr. Elizabeth Armstrong, and let me know, because you're more than welcome. And Michele, I've wanted to call you a couple times, but I mean, send you a message a couple times. Say, "Are you ready?"
No, I've been super busy. We'll get that scheduled, my dear.
Okay. So the thing is now, yeah, and I'm now on iHeart, Speaker. Yeah, we're all over the place. So the thing is I've been talking to people, and from what I understand is I'm hearing a lot of people say they can see this change going on. Let's face it, 5 million women or people coming out in January for the Women's March.
I know.
Worldwide. So that is a big testimony towards this. And no matter what the men are doing, no matter what the women are doing, no matter what the planet's doing, it's correcting itself. Mm-hmm. And so I feel the best thing we can do now in this correction of balance between the masculine and feminine is to contribute by raising our vibrational frequency as high as possible to the vibration of love. And that was David Hawkins, I think, did this, and a good friend of mine brought this to my attention. And the vibration of love is very, very high, where hate, anger, and everything is very low. And when you raise your vibrational frequency and get into that place of heart-centered awareness and love, then that heals automatically the spiritual matrix of the planet. And so as opposed to getting caught up in the male-dominated ego, okay, we're just gonna compete and kick butt and all this stuff, when we shift to the heart and say, I'm compassionate, I'm nurturing, I'm going to love, and every situation comes up. So when that blockage or that thing comes up that makes you want to retaliate and get mad, I just go, oh, well, y'all just go ahead and play your little game over there. I'm going to play my little game over here with these women that are powerful and that are moving forward. And because let's face it, with women in upper management or board positions, businesses do 55% better. So, okay, you guys, go ahead and have your little club over there, but your businesses aren't making it. It's just bottom line now. And at universities, it's like, or I went to a conference, 70% women, 30% men. So when we look, it is happening. And I think it's time to rejoice in that and supporting other people. And as far as the sexual assault and everything, been there, had it happen to me. I mean, I could tell you things that happened to me from birth that would shock your butt off. But I can't let it control my life.
Absolutely. And what I really love about what you're saying, Elizabeth, is that yes, absolutely, this is not about rage against the machine. It's not that at all.
No.
It's really about like really taking our power back and owning it, and that divine feminine. And I really, and I totally agree with you. We are in that pendulum swing, coming back to feminine-based leadership. And it looks different and it feels different. And the way I've sensed it is that it's what's happening right now. It's like when your amygdala, your fight or flight part of your brain says, oh, I have to protect you from this, but your higher self says, oh no, we're good, right? And you're elevating to that new level, but your amygdala is like, oh hell no, and tries to pull you back down into that state of angst and fear. It's like the planet's kind of going through that same kind of situation.
Yes.
You're elevating to this higher level of feminine based leadership, and the old habits and patterns are trying to hold us down into this lower level of energy and vibration. And Trump is doing a fantastic job of that.
That's making America great. We're waking up, and you know what I mean? Like maybe we needed this wake up call to get out of complacency. And
that's what I see it as. I really do. I see it as that hard, smack against the wall kind of wake up call of like, okay, this doesn't work. What are you going to do differently? And it's taken this extreme level of OMG happening in so many different ways, shapes, and forms to have people get out and vote and get involved in their community.
Just to be aware.
Yeah. Right. And educating themselves, it's shocking to me.
Well, I can hear you, and I can hear you saying there are a lot of issues, and there are. As an environmentalist, our world is collapsing, literally. We're in a mass extinction. We've got overpopulation. We've got our business system is totally crashing, and we've got just such an elevated social unrest. Our system is collapsing, and it is because of the lifestyles created from the Industrial Revolution, which is this male-dominated system. And we all have our platform, and mine is, and I see this unfolding too, is we've got to go green. As we have natural disasters taking people homeless, And as a result of this collapse of the environment, there's an increase in the number of frequency of natural disasters.
Mhm.
And people are, I mean, in one day after a fire, people have lost their homes, their jobs, and everything they had. A hurricane, same thing, lost everything. And what is incredible, I'm not sure if you've heard of binaries.org. This is their 28th year of having the conference, and I went to it this year, which I've gone. If you can't afford to go, you can do a work exchange. So you go for this 3-day conference for free, and you work 8 hours. And there was a man there that was a green economic person, and what he said was, there are states, and you may not know this, but states that are going 100% renewable.
Costa Rica is the first country, right?
Well, Costa Rica is definitely, they disarmed their military,
Yeah.
and they're thriving with ecotourism.
They're actually building their rainforests.
Yes. And encouraging biodiversity and everything. And I think that's one of the main problems we have, because once we can bring balance back to our environment, then people won't be so...
Well, they say the next war will not start over oil, it'll start over water.
Well, look at what's...
Yeah.
Luckily, I've been in a few places where there's a lot of water. I'm in Canada right now, a little fire in the fireplace behind me. I'm not sure if y'all can see that, but it's going strong. And there's rain and there's moisture. And I was in Paris, and they have water just running down rivets. Not Paris, south of France. Just tons of water. But then look at the aquifers drying up in California. And so, yes, I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'll calm myself down.
Yeah. We can have a whole discussion on environmental.
Yeah, absolutely we can. I just want to welcome Erica to the call. So glad you could join us. We can't see your beautiful face, but we know you're there.
Well, if you hover down at the bottom, it says video, and just click the red line and it goes off.
Yeah, well, she's got herself muted, so hopefully she'll allow her voice to be heard here in a minute.
Her audio isn't working, she said.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're here. We're feeling your voice. You can type into the chat box with any comments you have, Erica. So glad you're here, audio or not. And so, yeah, with oh, there we go. She found the chat box. Awesome. Yeah, that's, to me, that's what this is all about. It's creating that global wake up call. I saw an interview the other day with President Macron from France, and he's like, whether our president is on board with the Paris Accord or not, he's still going forward with it. And he sees it as this, it's just kind of fuel to the fire in a good way of like, no, really, no kidding. The ice sheets are melting.
America just won't be the leader in it. It is profit. You can make money in clean energy. And coal is not like this. There is no such thing as clean coal. So,
no.
Sorry,
we have another visitor. Look at this.
He's very needy.
What's Pup's name?
Mascot.
Mascot. Oh, he's so sweet.
Sorry, he'll start.
Yeah, I've got two right here sleeping on the couches. And when I hooted or something, they popped up and said, "What?" I said, "No, just stay where you are."
The cats will be here in a minute. And so I wanted to, find out from you all, what are some of the things, given some of the difficult things that you've gone through in your life around sexual harassment, in any way, shape, or form, what have you done that have you found to be more empowering for you, that's helped you reclaim your voice and move beyond the fear of it? I essentially was raped when I was 16 and never told anybody about it for a really, really long time. And because I thought it was my fault. you know. And I felt ashamed and wounded and all sorts of things until one day I was like, no, that really wasn't my fault. And I've done a whole lot of work around it to move it all out of the way. And so it's a matter of what can we do for ourselves to go, no, not my fault. And how do I take my power back? So I'm curious to know what you ladies have done to help you through some of those things. Yes, Miss Elizabeth.
Okay. What have I done? When the student is ready, the teacher will come. Mm-hmm. Now, keep in mind, I'm a scientist. I mean, probability analysis, scientific process, the whole bit. And then I wrote a book about the Industrial Revolution. And I got to a point where I was inspired to write about heart-centered awareness. So I didn't know anything about it, so I did the research. And once I did that, and I started shifting to my heart awareness. Mm-hmm. Now, keep in mind, the mind is the ego, and that's masculine. Competition, ego. The heart is the feminine, the nurturing, the compassionate, the love, the intuition, which, keep in mind, women have been burned at the stake and had their necks split because of using their intuitive abilities. So we tend to back off from doing that. But as I continued to shift to heart-centered awareness, all this other information came too. People that had done past life regression analysis on people, and finding out that this piece of life that we're in right now is so minor compared to I'm not sure if you believe in reincarnation, the many lifetimes we've had and the many times in the interlife. So when all that information started coming in, of course it was a shock. It was like, oh my God, interlife, past life regression analysis, all this stuff. I ended up having a booth at the Transformational Conference that Dolores Cannon put together because her husband was a hypnotherapist in the military, so she learned how to hypnotize, but then she started doing past life regression. So that was so big for me to, number one, shift to the heart, because now I'm being compassionate about it all. Mm-hmm. And then reading about the interlife, where these people that are involved in this behavior, they're going to have to, karma is real. Whatever. I'm just glad that I'm moving past that, and I'm now transcending or ascending and evolving to a point to where I'm closer to the source and won't have to come back here again, or will have a life here where it's more of a leader, this won't happen. And those people that did do it, they will be back and they will get everything that they put out.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way, but you're right. Karma is a bitch. I saw a great t-shirt at Target one day. It said, I saw that, karma.
And when you think about it, it doesn't violate the laws of nature because it's energy. So
exactly,
you have to have push and pull. For every reaction, there's an opposite reaction, or whatever that conservation.
So I'll say one more thing, and that is, in the interlife, once we pass over and go to this place, the very highly evolved spiritual people are saying, people are coming back and saying, oh my God, I can't believe I did that in this lifetime. And they're saying, no, let's look at what you did do right. Let's move forward with what you did do life. Yeah, you did that bad, but they're not harping on it because they know they're going to have to come back and live it. So why fret? These people that have hurt us and the person got hit by the car, he's going to have to come back, probably as a woman. And all those women that he touched and hurt and impacted emotionally, well, if not them, but lower maturity souls, he will help their growth.
Mm-hmm. And I truly believe that, everyone who comes into our life is a teacher, right? They're there to help us see what's on the end of our nose that we can't see in a particular moment, and to move beyond it. And otherwise, it'll just keep putting it in our face. No, did you see this? No, you did see it. Yeah, did you see it?
No.
Right? And what I loved so much about the Women's March that happened this past January was it was just palpable, the emotion and the energy and you could feel everyone's pain, but it was being released.
I have to say it was a top 10 moment of my adult life.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, I was sick as a dog, and I'm like, I'm going. I don't care. It's cold outside, and I'm still going. And it was,
Okay, Erica, high five.
I was here I went to the march in Oakland, and there was probably 70,000 women in the street.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was extraordinary. And they're doing it again this year. So, I mean, it gives me chills just thinking about it. I'm so excited about it because never in my life have I been in a mass of women like that. And now in my life, I'm so finally attuned to my own intuition and the energy of others. And I use it, every day in my work as a coach and a hypnotherapist. It really helps me to sense what's going on for others. But in that kind of context, it was like, whoa. I was just like,
Great energy. It really was.
It really felt like every single person in that crowd was Wonder Woman, and we all had this amazing power to make a difference and to raise our voices in joy and celebration of each other.
Yes. Yes.
And to have that movement now to allow that's what is so it's a joyful tear that comes up for me about the silence breakers, right? Because it's giving us all permission. Like these women who were brave enough to stand up and raise their hand and go, this happened to me and this person did this to me. It liberates all of us to speak up and speak out and go, no, that's not right. Whether it's harassment or abuse or even bullying. I was bullied in my corporate jobs by men in positions above and below me. And at the time, this was nearly 20 years ago, I didn't know what to do about it. I thought I was a strong woman, and confronted with that, I was like, bleh, bleh. And it cost me my job because
me too.
Because this particular man or that particular man couldn't handle me being their counterpart or their boss, and threw me in, found ways to throw me under the bus. And I don't say that trying to be a martyr or a victim about it. It's just what was so. And I've learned, and it's truly what, transformed my life, because I got laid off from my highfalutin.com job because of a particular person who did this. And it's what had me discover coaching, which is, like, oh, this is my work. This is my passion. This is my life purpose. So it was that I call it being shoved off the .com bus. And it was super painful at the time. Like, oh my God, my life was shattered. I thought, what do I do now? I have no idea who I am or what I'm supposed to be doing. And, divinely, I had asked for assistance, and here it was. And so I know and trust that we're all being pointed to step into our greater powers and our greater work and our genius and our talent. But at the same time, I don't know about y'all, but like every day I try not to watch the news, but it's like, oh my God, what's happened now? And because I'm so energetically sensitive, the last few months I've been feeling really stressed, really, really stressed. And it dawned on me the other day,
November last year.
I'm like, oh, it's the collective.
Yeah.
It's the collective that's really weighing on me. And so, it's been a little challenging. I'm going into cocoon mode for the rest of the month soon.
And keep in mind, our system is collapsing literally. No water, polluted air, toxic food. It is collapsing. Now, we've passed the tipping point, and I'm not sure if what is being done now, well, it's not going to really stop it. It's already happening. And that's what you're feeling. You're feeling the collapse of this system where, I mean, what happened, in 1 month or 2 months, a huge fire that took out all those homes in Santa Rosa, a hurricane that took out all those.
Costa Rica still it's just barely getting its power back online. I have a friend who lives there.
Mexico, hurricane, a earthquake that just, if you look at all these natural disasters that are happening.
Oh, we've pissed off Mother Nature. She's like, y'all are not listening to me. So.
Excuse me? She's saying, y'all want to see my fire? I got to check it is why. See, it's got to get back up again right now. The flames have gone down, so I've got to stoke it.
So there is a lot of shifts happening.
There you go, locally,
fire. Economically, environmentally. I saw an article yesterday about the glacial ice in Greenland, and it's like melting 80% faster. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't read this. It hurts my heart. And it really makes me want to just like, okay, I don't want to read anything. I don't want to go outside. I don't want to talk to anybody.
So Eric says current disaster. What disaster? Are you talking political or?
No. In Greenland, the scientists are like, the melting of the ice in Greenland, which keeps the planet cold, essentially, is melting 80 times faster than they thought.
Yes, and in one
really, of these, really bad.
I think we need to take our opinion away from good or bad. Mm-hmm. It's just the way it is. Here's where we are now. Mm-hmm. Here's what's happening. Right. Okay, so what am I going to do about it? Instead of bad, I'm so depressed, oh my God, because that takes us down here. But we have to see, what's happening too is in one of those glaciers is a huge lake. And as soon as the glacier melts to that point, that lake's going to be released. And that's going to raise the level of the ocean. Mm-hmm. And it's already happening.
No, and I understand that. And so instead of, like you said, getting caught in fear and worry and things that I have literally no control over.
Don't watch the news.
Don't watch the news. And surrendering to, okay, this is what is, what is it? Byron Katie is like, we create suffering in our lives because we're pushing against what is. So this is what is.
Counter that.
High five on that one.
I'm going to counter you on that, you guys. Because I would say that you have to maintain an awareness, but you have to recognize what's in your sphere of influence. Like what can you do? Can you overturn climate change all by yourself? No. But there are things that you can do to empower yourself in your daily life.
Yes.
To make it, to maybe mitigate a little bit, so you can reduce your carbon footprint as much as you possibly can. So so there's a line you have to dance between being completely out of the loop so that you can't take action versus having it debilitate you to the point where you're just so overwhelmed that it's beyond.
And I completely agree with you, Mary. And that's where I was going. It's like, okay, instead of shrinking in fear and thinking I am completely helpless, because I know I'm not, I come back to, okay, what can I do individually? Okay, I can raise my vibration. And then through my work, I can help other people raise their vibration and create their own personal self-awareness and consciousness. Right? To be more joyful and more on purpose, because I know that raises the energy, the energy levels and the vibration of things. And then doing what you said, Mary, is taking responsibility for what I can control, my carbon footprint, the things that I eat, the places that I buy from, the causes I support, et cetera, et cetera. So it can feel minor. And at the same time, I know that we are all immensely powerful, immensely powerful in how we can manifest things. And so I have to bring myself back to that. And then okay, I'm going to listen to Oprah and Deepak. I'm going to get my meditation.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, you have to self-preserve. So when you get to that point where you're just like, I'm losing it. Yeah. You have to back off and take care of yourself so that you can give to the next level. Right. But, I think for me, I went from this past year for me has been a tremendous wake up call, and I'm not even really impacted by any of, to be honest with you, but I look around and I'm like, but I want everybody to do well. I don't,
I know.
It's not just about what can I get, what's in it for me. That's not, I would even say that's not an American belief in what I believe America is. So I want everybody to be doing well. I want everybody to have educational opportunity. I want everybody to have healthy food and all of that. So what can I do, maybe not on this massive scale, but what can I do in my community? So I have found that whenever I start getting freaked out about all of this, I figure out, okay, where can I serve somebody else? Where can I go out and help? Where can I do my volunteering? Where can I reach out to somebody who is being affected by these horrible decisions immediately?
Hashtag Love Army from, who was that from you, Michele?
Van Jones, yeah. So Van Jones, when this all happened last year, he started an organization called Love Army.
Okay.
I think it's lovearmy.com.
Okay.
They support several different initiatives and whatnot all around the different things that we've been talking about, both around women's rights and environmental issues, etc. I encourage you to check it out, and whether it's that or something else that you're passionate about, please do get involved, because when the former President Obama in a national speech somewhere is like, democracy needs you have to raise your voice, you can't become complacent. It's a call to action for fear of someone trying to think he's not president but is king. And I think, that's kind of what's happening here. We have a narcissist in the office right now. And
well, I want to respond to Mary. And Mary, you said you just want to serve and help. And I totally hear you. I was a waitress. My goal was to see people smiling by the time they left my station. I mean, you talk about wanting to make people happy. And then when I sat in my car homeless, I thought, what's going on? I've had a good life. I've got a PhD, a freaking PhD. What am I doing sitting in my car? What I realized is I was so busy taking care of everybody else, nobody was taking care of me.
Right. You got to take care of yourself first.
Yes. Yes. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first. And that was one of the biggest wake-up calls I ever had.
Yeah. And I think a lot of women feel that way, because we're conditioned to not take care of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Right. We're by nature, we're nurturers and we're givers, and we'll give till we're bled dry. And
not anymore.
It's a big part of my work is to help women realize that no, it's essential that you take care of yourself, mind, body, and spirit, so that you're available to take care of the people around you that you love. Because if you're sick, or God forbid you fall over dead, then you're not available to them anymore. and it's very easy for people to get caught up, and myself included, of gotta work, gotta do, and it's like, oh wait, just on Tuesday, it's very sadly, Mayor Ed Lee, the mayor of San Francisco, fell over dead at the grocery store, unexpectedly, at 65. And, it's just one of those reminders that life is short. And when your number's up, and the universe is like, okay, you're out. We're going to take you out for a minute and we'll send you back in. But right now you're out. So, thank you, Erica, for being on the call. We'll get you the audio. But we're so glad you were here, and we'll look forward to having you on the next call. So many blessings for a wonderful holiday season, and we'll see you in January on the 19th is our next call. So mark your calendar. I love that we have all the scientists on the call today. Hilarious to me. But we have to take care of ourselves and figure out how to create that balance. And I know it's difficult. I'm amazed at women who are, powerful executives and have children and are running 14 organizations. I'm like, I have a couple of cats and I'm trying to manage.
Right? I know.
I'm like, how do people do that? Right? Because we all have the same 24 hours in a day. And it comes back to our mindset, right? It's what's possible. And allowing ourselves to have the mental space to be able to juggle all of those balls. That's what makes us so Wonder Woman-like, right? And I think if men had to take over our jobs, they'd be like, whoa, this is hard.
And they have taken those roles and did come back and say, oh my.
Well, I'm going to use my husband as an example. He's the typical guy, right? Engineer type, strong, silent, masculine, good old boy type. But he said in the time, we've been together for a while now, and he said that he thinks that I've made him a better man in the sense that he's more aware of the things that are going on. Like, so I don't want to say he's looking at it from a feminine point of view. He's just looking at it from what it should be now. Right. And, so I think there's growth for all of us. And I think as we go in this journey, the men who are secure enough in themselves, they'll see that when everybody's empowered, everybody wins.
Right. And that's the key, what you just said, Mary, when they're self-aware.
Yeah.
Right. And I believe that that's essentially what this whole thing is about. What's happening right now, it's calling us individually to become more self-aware and tuned in with our own core values, our own genius and talents, not what we're being fed by others, right? But really looking inward. And sadly, I would say there's millions of people who are too afraid or haven't yet discovered that about themselves.
Or just aren't aware. If everybody around you is conditioning you to have certain beliefs, it's hard to see.
It's hard to get out of the fishbowl. Totally.
But I think ultimately this phase that we're going through as, not just a nation, but globally, we might not see the benefits. We might not see the fruits of our labor, but I am confident that we're starting to lay the groundwork for a better path for who's coming after us. I really do. Mm-hmm. It's like the suffragettes did it for us. They never got the vote, and they knew that they probably weren't going to get the vote, but they made it a little bit better for who was coming next. And so that keeps me grounded. Like, okay, I don't have to solve it all. I just have to make it a little bit better than it was. Keep progressing, then it will come.
Thank you.
We're all doing
that's beautiful.
If we're all doing that, you create an avalanche of positivity and
that I just that really touches me, because it's like oh, right, it's part of this bigger picture. And I might not be able to switch it today.
We might not see it. We might not ever see it.
But that's my contribution to the whole. And that alone can help me stay out of the, oh my God, place that I've been teetering on the edge of lately. Like, oh, I can't deal with this, sorry.
Well, I want to say something real quick, and that is, I love my daily planetary guide, Lewin's. And I'm so glad I found that, because it tells you the week's horoscope, but it also tells you what planet the moon is in and how that affects your days. When you look in here, it says this moon is in. So right now the moon is in, I think it's Capricorn, or one of them. And what it is a very emotional time. So for 3 days, we're going to be feeling a lot of emotions. And I have felt like crying. So, and I'm in there doing dishes and I feel like crying. I'm saying, I'm not sure why I want to cry, but I'm going to do it because I feel like it. And then when I read the calendar, it says, well, for these 3 days, we're in this very intense, emotional time. And so by recognizing how we're connected with everything, speaking of connected, and we choose what type of information we want to allow in. My Christmas present to myself was to join Gaia, Gaia.
With Elizabeth McLaughlin.
Yeah, and Greg Braden.
Okay.
And I had listened to Greg Braden's thing, and he said, in history, men have written about how there's a correlation between sunspots, social unrest, financial collapse, and something else. And, okay, I said it wrong. It's G-I-A.
I don't know if I spelled it right or not.
I think it's Gaia. I'm not sure, but anyway, Google. And
oh, you're right.
And so he's saying, and so right now there are these huge sunspots. So these sunspots are making us upset and creating social unrest and creating whatever else, the melting of the glaciers.
Well, it's so fascinating to me, and thank you, Elizabeth, for bringing that up, because it reminds us, and we're just little tiny pieces.
I know,
right? I saw a great article. I think it was on 60 Minutes about the Hubble telescope, and they refined the lens somehow. I don't know how they did that, but they're getting images now, like into galaxy billions of miles away. I'm like, how do they do that? I mean, it blows my mind that they can see these stars and these planets being born a bazillion miles away, literally. And it's like, wow, that's really humbling. We can get so caught up on our drama and and it's like, oh no, we're just this little teeny tiny little speck, right?
Yes.
And so, attitude adjustment.
Yeah, exactly.
The monks came to town.
Speaking of that telescope, they didn't have, those little incremental changes all the past, 300 years that we've had telescopes, or whatever it is, 500 years. Every little minor tweak to the telescope has brought us to this point.
Yeah.
And that's the evolution of the planet. There used to be cavemen. They didn't have computers, and it took a time in history when it was ready for the computers and so on. And we're in this consciousness evolution right now. And we're experiencing this broadening of our consciousness with telescope and everything else. And it's just amazing. And about the depression thing, the monks came to town and they made this mandala. Have you ever seen them make those mandalas?
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
A tiny, this little thing like this, and they're scraping it and this little sand's coming out. And they make this big mandala of details of little people. I'm like, oh my God. It took them 3 days to build it. Mm-hmm. And someone asked one time, he says, well, what happens when you get depressed? He says, well, go where you can see great distances. So I went to the top of the mountain one time and I thought, oh my gosh, look at all those trees and then all the leaves. And then there might be an ant on all those trees. I'm like okay, I'm not depressed anymore. My depression is gone.
Yeah, no, and that's great. I love that, because perspective is everything, right? When we get caught in this, then it's easy to get in the swirl of, right? Whatever that might be. But when you can step back and pull back to the 10, 15, 100,000 foot view, or 100 billion mile view from the Hubble telescope, you're like, oh, this is really a non-issue. It's really just a non-issue in the grand scheme of things.
Just let the wind blow through and just carry and release it and carry it right along. And then,
so Michele, that's funny. That's kind of the story I tell myself about climate change too. Like I tell myself, well, unless we blow up the planet, which is always possible, I suppose, the Earth will survive.
Right. The Earth will survive that. We might not survive it.
Humans may not. And we're dying. Our lifespan has shortened.
Yeah. Before we tune off here today, I want to share this story with you because I think it's really relevant in this moment. A very dear friend of mine passed away unexpectedly about 4 years ago now, Stacy, of a heart attack. And her family, she was super intuitive, and her aunts and her sister are all super, super intuitive. And I remember like 2 days after her passing, we were all at her husband's house and consoling him. And I saw her aunt, and I said, "How are you?" And she's like, "Well, Stacy came to me." I'm like, "Oh, really? What did Stacy have to say?" She's like, "Well," she said, "it's so beautiful here. If I had known this, I would have done it so much sooner."
I know.
And I was like, wow. And then it happened that someone in that same period of time gave me the book called Proof of Heaven, which is a true story written by a neurobiologist or neurosurgeon who contracted bacterial meningitis of the brain, which has like a 5% survival rate. And he survived, and he came back from his death experience and explained it in great detail as to where he went and what it was like. And it was the same kind of message that Stacy had given us. Like, it's so beautiful and amazing here. And after that experience, Stacy's passing and this book and all of this information coming to me in that moment, it eliminated my fear of death. Like, oh, there's just a better place to go. So don't sweat the small stuff, kind of thing. But it's still easy to get caught in the swirl and the angst and the energy of it, whether it's mine or others. I'm just feeling it. So I just, I want to appreciate you all for being a part of this conversation today. It was really rich and juicy. And for everyone who's listening in, we're here. You have a community, you have support. If you're feeling the angst of what's happening globally or locally, please feel free to reach out. Reach out to me personally. I'm happy to have a chat with you, or reach out via the Facebook group or the online group, because we're not in this alone. That's the whole point. We're not in this alone. We are truly all connected.
Stardust. I like that.
Yeah. And I saw a clip from the Golden Globe Awards the other night, and it was the producer of Avatar. And he said, if it takes a animated 3D movie for you all to get that we're all connected, well, then great. Whatever it takes. So
Star Trek. People should watch Star Trek.
Yes.
I love Star Trek. I'm Spock. I'm so logical. It's like,
I'm the Intuit.
You're
My husband.
There you go.
I love it.
And Michele, thank you so very much for sticking with this and keeping us together. Even though we have 3 people here, you keep persevering forward. And before I wasn't ready, and now I think I really am ready to be more of a participant and do whatever. But thank you so much for all that you've done for us.
Oh, it's my sincere pleasure. And whether we have one person or 50 people on the call, it's my way of saying there's somebody here for you, and we're listening, and we can have these rich dialogues and conversations and that support us all in our growth and our own evolution. So we will continue forward into 2018 with the Wonder Woman, and look forward to some great conversations we'll be having. I've got some fun stuff on tap for January with my dear friend Sherry and Tom. And so, stay tuned for more.
Radio show, contact me, Facebook, just send me a message, and I'll get you the information. We'll interview you and get you on. You get to give away a freebie, and we're all over the place.
I got lots of freebies to give away, so it's all wonderful. Well, thank you both. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for your wisdom.
Nice meeting you, Mary.
This New Year's, and this is my 2018 is my 50th year, so I'm going to be celebrating all year long.
Welcome to the club. Yes, my birthday's coming up here in 8, 10, 13 days. There we go.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Okay, until later, everybody.
All right, many blessings to you all. Have a wonderful holiday season in whatever shape or form that looks like. Be safe, and Happy New Year. All right.
Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
We'll see you on January 19th.
Keep your voice alive. Keep your voice alive.
Yes. And I will share a link of my Tapping into Your Power and Presence ebook and guided MP3 meditation as well. So enjoy, and we'll see you all in the new year.
All right.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.